My drunk girlfriend laughed with friends. He's too dumb to know I've been cheating for years, they roared. I said nothing. When she showed up crying at my door, she got a shock. My phone stayed silent as her life crumbled. Her betrayal freed me. I didn't cry. I acted. Now she's alone and I'm moving on. My revenge is her emptiness. So here I am, sitting in my Toyota Camry outside this dive bar on 5th Street. Engine running, Spotify playing some Taylor Swift playlist I don't even remember putting on. The bass from inside is thumping against the brick walls, and I can see through the window that the place is packed. Friday night? You know how it is. I wasn't supposed to be here. Had plans to hit up Dave & Buster's with my buddy Marcus. Maybe grab some wings and play some arcade games like we're still 12 years old. But then Sarah texted me around 8, all sweet and apologetic, saying her girls' night got moved to Murphy's Pub and asking if I could pick her up around midnight, since her ride fell through. 3 years we've been together. 3 years of me being the designated driver, the guy who always shows up, the one who remembers to buy her favorite Ben & Jerry's when she's stressed about work. I thought we had something real, you know? Like planning our future together. Kind of real. I'm early because traffic was lighter than expected, so I figure I'll just wait in the car, maybe scroll through Reddit or catch up on some YouTube videos. But then I hear this loud burst of laughter from the smoking area around the side of the building. That's when I recognize Sarah's voice cutting through the noise like a knife. Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back, right? I turn off my engine and roll down the passenger window just enough to hear better. What I hear next makes my blood run cold. I swear, he's so dense sometimes. Sarah's voice is slurred but clear enough. Like, I've been seeing Jake for almost 2 years now and he still hasn't figured it out. Poor guy probably thinks I'm working late all those nights. Her friends are cackling like hyenas. Someone else chimes in. Doesn't he ever get suspicious? I mean, come on. Nope. Sarah's practically shrieking with laughter now. He's too trusting, too nice. Honestly, it's almost sad how clueless he is. I could probably bring Jake over to his apartment and he'd offer to make us all dinner. My hands are gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles have gone white. Jake. I know exactly who she's talking about. Jake from her marketing department, the guy she's mentioned in passing maybe 50 times over the past year, the guy whose Instagram she's always liking, whose stories she always watches first. But why stay with him then? Another voice asks. Are you kidding? He pays for everything. Rent, groceries, even my car insurance. Plus he does all the boring relationship stuff while Jake gives me the excitement. Best of both worlds, honestly. The group erupts in laughter again, and I feel like I'm going to be sick. 3 years. 3 years of me thinking I was building something meaningful while she was playing house with my emotions and my wallet. I don't storm out of the car. I don't march over there and cause a scene. Instead, I sit in that Toyota for another hour, listening to them trash me while my entire relationship gets deconstructed like some twisted comedy routine. By the time Sarah finally texts me at 12:47 asking where I am, I've heard enough to understand that this isn't some recent thing. This has been going on since year 1. Update. Alright folks, I know you're all probably wondering what I did next. Trust me, it gets interesting. But before I continue, I need to know, have any of you ever had that moment where everything you thought you knew about someone just crumbles? Because what happened when I finally responded to her text was just the beginning. I text back, car trouble, getting an Uber home. You should probably do the same. It's a lie, obviously. My Camry runs like a dream, but I need time to think, to process what I just heard. I drive home in complete silence. No music, no podcasts, just the sound of my tires on asphalt and my brain trying to reorganize 3 years of memories. When I get back to my apartment, I don't flip out. I don't punch walls or throw things like some dramatic movie scene. Instead, I grab a Bud Light from the fridge, sit on my couch, and start thinking strategically. If Sarah wants to play games, fine, but she's about to learn that I'm not as stupid as she thinks. The first thing I do is check our shared expenses. We split the rent on this place, 50-50, supposedly. But looking at my bank statements, I realize I've been covering way more than my share. Groceries, utilities, streaming, services, even her gym membership at Planet Fitness. I've been subsidizing her double life without even realizing it. Next, I go through her social media more carefully than I ever have before. It's all there, hidden in plain sight. Photos with Jake at places I've never been, tagged locations that don't match what she told me she was doing. Inside jokes and comment sections that make way more sense now. I screenshot everything. Not because I'm planning some massive expose, but because I want proof that I'm not losing my mind. Sarah stumbles in around 2:30, clearly still buzzed. She's all handsy and giggly, trying to climb into bed next to me while I pretend to be asleep. The smell of alcohol and cigarettes clings to her, mixed with cologne that definitely isn't mine. Baby, she whispers, poking my shoulder. You missed such a fun night. The girls were asking about you. I bet they were. Saturday morning arrives with Sarah nursing a hangover and me making pancakes like nothing happened. She's sitting at our kitchen table in one of my old college t-shirts, scrolling through her phone and occasionally groaning about how bright the light is. Thanks for picking me up last night, she says without looking up. Sorry your car broke down. Is it running? Okay now? Yeah, turned out to be nothing serious. I reply, flipping another pancake. Funny how these things work out. She doesn't catch the sarcasm. Or maybe she does and just doesn't care. The next few weeks are the most educational of my life. Now that I know what to look for, Sarah's deception is almost comically obvious. The late nights at work that don't match her company's actual project deadlines. The girls' trips that seem to have a suspicious number of male participants based on her social media. The way she guards her phone like it contains state secrets. I don't confront her. Instead, I start making my own plans. First, I talk to Marcus about potentially crashing at his place for a while. He's got a spare room and has been looking for someone to help with his mortgage anyway. When I explain the situation without going into too much detail, he's immediately on board. Dude, you can stay as long as you need, he says over beers at our usual spot, Buffalo Wild Wings. Honestly, I never really liked her anyway. Something always seemed off. Thanks for the honesty, Marcus. Next, I start separating our finances. It's easier than I expected since most everything is already in my name anyway. I open a new bank account, start redirecting my direct deposit, and begin the process of removing her from shared expenses. The hardest part is acting normal. Continuing. To go through the motions of our relationship while knowing it's all a performance. She's still texting Jake constantly, still coming home late with elaborate explanations, still treating me like some kind of convenient roommate who happens to pay for everything. But here's the thing about Sarah. She's gotten comfortable, sloppy. She's so convinced that I'm clueless that she's stopped being careful. Like the night she comes home at 2 a.m. claiming she was at her coworker Michelle's house for a wine night, but I can see Jake's apartment building reflected in her sunglasses, in the selfie she posted on Instagram. Or when she tells me she's going to her mom's for the weekend but forgets to turn off her location sharing, showing her at some cabin upstate that definitely isn't her childhood home. Update. Okay, so I've been getting a lot of messages asking when I'm finally going to confront her. Well, that moment came sooner than expected, and it wasn't at all how I planned it. Sarah basically confronted herself, and what happened next honestly shocked even me. Are you ready for this plot twist? 3 months after that night outside Murphy's pub, Sarah makes the mistake that changes everything. She gets careless with her phone. We're watching Netflix on a Sunday evening, some crime documentary she picked out. Her phone is charging on the coffee table when it lights up with a text. Normally, I wouldn't even glance at it, but the preview message is impossible to ignore. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Hotel room is booked under Johnson like always. It's from Jake. Sarah doesn't notice because she's half asleep against my shoulder, but I see everything. The message, the notification showing dozens of unread texts from him, even a glimpse of their conversation history when she rolls over and her phone shifts. That's when I realize she's been using me as cover for an entire parallel relationship. All those nights I thought she was working late or hanging with friends, she was living a completely different life with someone else. But instead of waking her up and having it out right there, I do something that surprises even me. I gently move her off my shoulder, cover her with a blanket, and go to my computer. I draft an email. Not to Sarah, not to Jake, to Sarah's boss. See? One thing I learned during my weeks of detective work is that Sarah has been using company resources for her personal life. Fake business trips that were actually romantic getaways. Expense reports for client dinners that were actually dates. Even using her company credit card for hotel rooms. I don't send the email immediately. I save it as a draft and go to bed. Next morning, Sarah leaves for work, all kisses and smiles, telling me she'll be late because of a client presentation. I know she's actually meeting Jake at some hotel downtown, but I just smile and tell her to have a good day. After she's gone, I finish packing the last of my stuff. Marcus is expecting me by noon, and I want to be completely moved out before Sarah gets back from her fake work meeting. But first, I send that email. Then I leave my keys on the kitchen counter, take my name off the lease, thank God for understanding, landlords, and drive away from 3 years of my life. My phone starts ringing around 4 p.m. Sarah, obviously. I let it go to voicemail. Then Jake calls, which is interesting. I let that go too. By 6 p.m., I have 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. Sarah has apparently discovered that her company is launching an investigation into her expense reports. Her boyfriend has disappeared along with half the furniture, and her rent just doubled because she's now the sole tenant on a lease she can't afford. The voicemails start angry, but quickly turn desperate. In the span of 6 hours, Sarah goes from cursing me out to begging me to call her back to finally admitting that she made some mistakes and wants to work things out. I don't respond to any of it. A week later, Marcus and I are setting up my new gaming corner in his spare room when there's a knock at the door. It's Sarah, and she looks horrible. Her hair is unwashed. She's wearing sweatpants and one of my old hoodies that she must have forgotten to pack when I left, and her eyes are red-rimmed like she's been crying for days. We need to talk, she says when Marcus opens the door. Doesn't want to talk to you, Marcus replies, but I appear behind him. It's okay, I tell him. I've got this. Sarah and I sit on Marcus's front porch, and for the first time in months, I really look at her. She's lost weight, and not in a good way. There are dark circles under her eyes, and her hands are shaking slightly. I lost my job, she says without preamble. They fired me yesterday, and Jake, she lets out a bitter laugh. Jake decided he wasn't ready for anything serious once things got complicated. I don't say anything. I know you know, she continues, about everything. I don't know how long you've known, but I know you know. Still nothing from me. I can't afford the apartment by myself. I can't afford anything by myself. I've been sleeping on my sister's couch for 3 nights, and she's already tired of me. She looks up at me with those big brown eyes that used to make me melt. I made a huge mistake, multiple huge mistakes, but we can fix this, right? We can work through this? This is the moment I've been unconsciously preparing for, the confrontation I've been dreading and anticipating in equal measure. Sarah, I say quietly, do you remember what you said about me being too stupid to figure out what you were doing? Her face goes white. You called me dense, clueless, said it was almost sad how trusting I was. I lean back in the porch chair. You weren't wrong about the trusting part. I did trust you, completely. But the stupid part, that was your mistake. She starts crying then, real tears, not the manipulative kind she used to pull out when she wanted something. I never meant those things, she sobs. I was drunk. I was trying to impress my friends. I don't know why I said that stuff. Because it's what you really thought, I reply. And maybe you were right to think it for a while. But here's the thing about underestimating people, Sarah. Eventually, they surprise you. Update. This is probably my final update, guys. What happened next was honestly the most satisfying conversation of my life, and I think it perfectly wraps up this whole mess. But I'm curious, do you think I was too harsh, or did she get exactly what she deserved? Because her reaction to what I said next was absolutely priceless. I'm not angry anymore, I continue, and it's true. Somewhere over the past few weeks, the rage has transformed into something else. Clarity, maybe. I was furious at first, obviously. But then I realized something. You did me a favor. Sarah looks confused through her tears. For 3 years, I was planning a future with someone who saw me as a convenience, a reliable source of emotional and financial support while she got her real needs met elsewhere. That's not love, Sarah. That's not even friendship. That's just using someone. But I did love you, she protests. I do love you. I just got confused, got caught up in something that didn't mean anything. 2 years doesn't mean anything, I ask. Because that's how long you were with Jake, right? 2 years of hotel rooms and fake business trips and laughing about how stupid your boyfriend was? She doesn't answer. Here's what's going to happen, I say, standing up from the porch chair. You're going to figure out your own life, find a job, find a place to live, find someone who actually wants to be with you instead of someone you have to lie to and cheat on. And I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to do it honestly. So that's it? She asks. 3 years and you're just going to throw it all away? I'm not throwing anything away, Sarah. You already did that when you decided I was too stupid to notice what you were doing. I head toward Marcus's front door. The difference is, I'm not crying about it. And I'm not. As I watch her walk back to her sister's beat-up Honda Civic, I don't feel sad or angry or even particularly vindicated. I just feel free. 6 months later, I'm doing better than I have in years. Marcus and I have become genuine roommates instead of just convenience arrangements. We've got a good thing going. He handles most of the cooking, I take care of the yard, work, and minor repairs, and we split everything else down the middle like actual adults. I've started dating again, nothing serious yet, but I'm meeting people who seem genuinely interested in getting to know me rather than just having me around, for utility purposes. It's a nice change of pace. Sarah, from what I hear through mutual friends, is still struggling. She found a new job eventually, but it pays significantly less than her old one. Jake, predictably, moved on to someone else as soon as the drama started. She's living with a roommate in a studio apartment across town, and apparently spends most of her free time trying to convince people that I was the problem in our relationship. I don't wish her ill, exactly. But I don't wish her well either. She made her choices, and now she gets to live with the consequences. Meanwhile, I get to build something real with someone who actually values honesty and respect. Sometimes the best revenge isn't some elaborate scheme or dramatic confrontation. Sometimes it's just walking away and living better than the person who wronged you ever thought you could. And sometimes, just sometimes, the person everyone thought was too stupid to see what was happening right in front of them turns out to be the smartest one in the room.